Welcome to the Paisley Pirates podcast, your ringside pass to players, coaches and the people who keep the fire burning. The ship sails with all of you on board. Coming up in this episode,
with Bill Morrison as the coach, he was a good guy, and that's one of the things I think when you move into a team that's unknown, you never know how the coach is going to be. As a group of coaches and hockey players at the moment, we've just got to do the best we can to get everyone out there and keep it going.
And joining me on this week's episode of the Paisley Pirates podcast, he is a stalwart for the team. I believe, you can correct me if I'm wrong here, he's played within 2 eras of the Pirates. He's also a skills development coach and a coach for the Caledonia Steel Queens and the Glasgow Thistles. Jamie, thank you so much for joining me today.
No, you're welcome. Thanks for having me on. It's first podcast for me.
Is it really?
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, I'm glad we could bring you on for your first one then, that's for sure.
Yeah, thanks.
So anyway, we always kick off every episode with the exact same question. Sometimes it's forewarned, sometimes it isn't. But in this case, Jamie, what is your favourite biscuit?
Well, I used to love a trio. Do you ever remember the trios?
It rings a bell, but I don't think I've ever had one.
They don't. I'm pretty sure they don't make them now. But it was a kind of biscuit base, wee bit of toffee in it, and the chocolate around it. It was pretty good. So I don't know if that doesn't qualify. Maybe what else could we go for? An orange penguin.
Oh, very smart choice. I do like that. I do. So someone brought in orange clubs to work during the week, and that was a bit of a minefield for the week, if I'm honest.
Aye, no, they're decent as well, you know.
Aye, exactly. Anyway, so let's crack on with the actual questions. So we were talking about this before we started writing things out. Your early days of the Pirates was like in early 2000s, but your records aren't up to date because someone had put you up as James Turnbull instead of Jamie Turnbull. And because of that, it's kind of been lost to the ether. So Let's try and fill in the gaps here. Can you take us back to your debut with the Pirates? What do you remember about walking into the changing room for that first time?
Yeah, so it was about 2000, 2001. The kind of debut for me was, it actually ended up being a nice long bus trip down to play in Guildford. I could say it was probably a baptism of fire type scenario. I'd never properly trained with the team. I did know some of the Scottish guys that were there, but I had no idea about the imports. I didn't really know the coach either, and obviously never played at that level. So it was a bit of a shock to the system, shall we say?
Who was the coach at that time?
Bill Morrison. So he
Right.
he was actually a goalie. He was a goalie, but he was a coach as well. Really good guy. Got on well with him. It's like anything. It took a bit of time to adapt to the team, but I loved it. It was a great experience. But I think it started. I basically got a call around midweek to see if I wanted to play with the Pirates, and as I said, they were going down to Guildford that weekend. And I don't really know how my name came up. It was maybe through the juniors or the Scottish Division 1. It was called. It was pretty much SNL at the time, but that's where I was playing. So I'd kind of, I just get that phone call and remember going down. But it was a lot to take in. Obviously, you wanted to do a good job when you're on the ice. You wanted to make a good impression with the team and the fans. But I was maybe 17 or 18. So I think I was an alright guy at that age, but it was probably a bit terrifying, but at the same time enjoyable. But the thing I remember is Guildford was like one of the top teams at the time, and I think they might actually win the championship that season, but it wasn't the easiest of games to be getting into as a first timer in that league, I can tell you. But what was it, said the dressing room?
Aye.
I don't know, I just remember getting in there, obviously trying to find a space in the room to put the kit bag down. I don't remember if we were maybe running late because we quickly get changed and, jumped into the warm-up stuff, and we had a run around the rink just to get the body going again, get rid of those the bus legs after that journey.
Yeah.
But, we came back in the room and the guys were just, I think they were talking, getting prepped, and I just remember looking about the room trying to identify who people wearing, things like that. But what I do remember, was obviously getting that jersey to put on and, just staring at it for a wee bit of time. But it was a proud moment, I would say.
So that obviously must have meant quite a lot to you, being able to put on the Pirates jersey for the first time and, being part of that team.
It meant a lot, as a kid. I used to go and watch them, and you always have that hope as a junior coming up through the Paisley setup. That you might get the opportunity, but you just never know. And I was fortunate enough to be able to do that.
So, yeah, how did the kind of early years with the Pirates shape you as both a player and a coach later on?
I don't know. I mean, it was a difficult time. And I think this is one of these things you just kind of. There was, you mean like the leaders in the squad and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
There was loads. We had loads of characters. There was natural leaders for sure. I would say, well, we were a very good team when it came to this. The guys would happily give you advice. Sometimes it would be off their own back, but if you needed it, they were there for you. They would certainly help you out. And they weren't, if you weren't pulling your weight, they were certainly going to be on top of you for that as well. So that was pretty good. As I said earlier, we had Bill Morrison as the coach. He was a good guy, and that's one of the things I think when you move into a team that's unknown, you never know how the coach is going to be. Mm-hmm. There's definitely different coaches out there, and you just don't know if you're going to. Not that there's bad ones, but you just don't know how they're going to react to you. So I had Bill there. He was a goalie coach, but the goalie, but the other guys we had at the time who were the backups. Gordon Langford, mm-hmm. he was a guy that I grew up with him, maybe going through Glasgow as well as Paisley. Who else was there? Damien Orr, he was another backup. I think John Russell was there too, actually. I don't know if you heard of him. He does all the goalie coaching. He's a good guy.
Aye.
But there was I would say it was a difficult season for us, but in the locker room it was a great bunch of guys. We had Craig Nelson was our captain, I believe, at the time. He was a Canadian import. He was a real good guy. Good leader, good communicator. He was a guy that spoke his mind as well. So we needed that at times to keep us in check. But leaders, I don't know. There was a few guys shared the A's in the jersey. Mm. You don't have to have a C or an A on your jersey to be a leader. I remember who else is there? Like Kenny Redmonds, John Churchill. He's a name that you'll certainly know. Who else? Graham Lester. Colin McMillan, Brad Penderson, Murray Johnson. These are guys that are now coaching at Lanarkshire, but they would all chip in, give you advice. I'd originally been coached with Kenny Redmonds in the juniors, so I felt kind of close to him. It was great to have him as a teammate. But I know amazing times. I'm trying to think who else was there that the fans would. Do you know what, by the way, I'm just thinking that, who's the fan favourites? You would have guys like Jamesy Clark, Chris Connerboy, I don't know if you know who they are. They were crowd pleasers, you could say. They were big tough guys, they were skilled, but they knew how to get the crowd going. They were good players, but they weren't shy in dropping the gloves and going with somebody or making a big hit. But it was for me anyway. It was certainly a great team, and I'd learned a lot from them. There was many guys that would come in and they knew we were whoever was in there. We were the juniors, so they had to kind of take us under their wing and help us out, just keep us right on the ice. But no, brilliant times for sure.
So I said from the outset that you were involved within, like two separate eras of the Pirates, and along with like Churchy as well and Rab, you all kind of, I don't want to say fell into that, but that's the kind of the way everything everything sort of went from the transition from, going to the Lagoon to Braehead. It was, people say that was a brand new era.
Yeah.
What was the kind of difference for you between, when you started in the Pirates early 2000s, coming into like the 2010s, and how the team was, playing, how it was being coached, and how it was ran ultimately?
Well, it was obviously a different league. We had a different coach, different bunch of guys. But one of the things for me over the years is that I just think that hockey keeps improving. We've got a long way to go to catch up with places like Canada or Sweden, etc. But there was certainly development there, and it was always happening. But being in a different league, it was different teams you were playing, so you weren't going down south as much. For example, you were playing in the Scottish setup, and it was totally different. But again, good experiences for sure. And you had those guys there, like we talked about Churchy and Rab and Cole McMillan and that. They were there, so you just you felt at home in that team, even though it was a different league, etc.
So moving on to where you are now, so you do a lot of coaching. What inspired you to make that move?
Well, I originally I think it was roller hockey I was playing. I was doing a bit of roller hockey, and I'd played with the Pirates for a while, and I just took some time out to do some roller hockey. But when I went there, I was maybe doing what the guys did to me in the Pirates. I was being more vocal, being a bit of a leader. Mm-hmm. And naturally, you just start to give people advice, and you remember your days for training and whatever you want to call it, tactics and things like that. So roller hockey is a wee bit different, but you could still apply all that stuff to it. So I pretty much started with the roller hockey. Then I went to, you probably know of Hamilton Hawks and the Recce. I did a wee bit with them. So I spent some time with Hamilton. We did okay. I was trying to coach a wee bit differently. Some of the players, to be honest, were more interested in just scrimmaging at times. But to develop, you need to spend time doing drills, and working on your skills and your tactics, etc. So it was a wee bit difficult, and obviously me being still a bit younger at that time, there was maybe not enough respect. But I just got on with it anyway, and it's just one of these things in life. People aren't always going to agree with you, and you've just got to do what you can to get through those moments. But I did that, and then obviously coaching just started to do my wee bit at Lanarkshire and just develop from there, really.
Mm-hmm. So how different is the satisfaction for developing players now compared to competing as one as yourself?
Okay, it's different. I mean, I loved obviously playing the game. Coaching's a different thing, because you're looking at the players themselves, and how they develop, and what things they achieve. But playing, was great. Maybe scoring goals, or you picking away and playing difficult tournaments. You're just enjoying yourself as a hockey player. But when you're going down the coaching side, it's totally different. You get people that are really inexperienced that want to improve, and they're maybe like a sponge. They're really desperate to learn. They're the good ones. And then you've got maybe players that are more experienced that just kind of, how do you say it? They've got a wee bit of an ego. They don't want to listen too much, which is it's a bit bad, because it spoils them, and it can be seen by other players and other coaches, and it ends up affecting them. You're not going to develop if you're not with that open mind, and you want to keep improving.
Hey, it's Calum here. It's just a quick interjection just to remind everyone about our website. It's paisleypirates.co.uk. From there you can check out all the news, the roster for the upcoming season, and check out the online shop, where everything that you buy from there is made on demand just for you, which means it is not available at home games. So that is paisleypirates.co.uk, and tell them that Ian Turley sent you. So has there been any specific philosophies or lessons that you've carried through from your playing days into coaching?
I don't know. I mean, it's probably just one of these ones where, as I was a kid coming through, you had different. You obviously had different coaches, you know, and I started at quite a young age.
Mm-hmm.
So you would have coaches that were, I wouldn't say they were bad coaches, but they were quite vocal, maybe shouty, you know, and very demanding of you. Then you would have coaches that, you know, were quite soft-spoken, patient, and then you also had the coaches that were 50-50. So I think with all those different coaches, it made me realise that, you know, I've got to watch how I approach people, especially with the coaching the kids as well. You've got to be careful what you do there. But, you know, you end up wearing a lot of hats, shall we say. You've got to just kind of, depending on the player that comes to you, you know, you've got to change what hat you've got on. Maybe you are more demanding with them.
Yeah.
Maybe they're a player that doesn't like too much criticism, so you just have to watch what you're doing with them, you know, as well.
So I want to touch on your work with women's hockey. Now, I know a lot of this is going to be influenced by family, but other people might not actually know that. So you've coached with the Caledonia Steel Queens. You've also helped get things running with the Glasgow Thistles with Aisling Rafter. Yeah. What drew you into working with women's hockey?
Well, I think it originally started with the Scotland Girls Development Programme. So that was like maybe, I'm guessing, 2018. And we had quite a few girls training at Lanarkshire at the time. And the chairman, Jim Patterson, he was a chairman for Lanarkshire, but he had a role within SIHA as well. So he was the original driving force to get the development programme up and running. He approached me about running those sessions, and yeah, over time, thanks to commitment for Jim, you know, obviously the players and the parents, we made that quite successful. So you know, that was a different challenge for me again. You had to switch up the hats in terms of coaching style, and as you just kind of pointed out, some of the coaches have got daughters in the game as well. So I just found it an easy transition, but. Anyway, I started running skill sessions every week. You know, there was a great bunch of coaches helping me do that, and we still do that. But that started to attract people from elsewhere, and that's actually where I met Aisling Rafter. So I believe she's already been on the podcast with you.
She has, yeah.
Aye. So yeah, when I met Aisling, you know, she told me about the likes of the Steel Queens. My own daughter Claire, you know, she was starting to go to the training with the Steel Queens after that and joined their team. So naturally I would then go, and it was, you know, it made sense for me just to go in and help out with the Steel Queens as well.
So how important do you think that the growth of the women's game in Scotland is for the wider future for ice hockey here?
It's mega important. The sport needs to keep growing in general, right? And we've got to keep up how it's done in other countries. The women's game is certainly becoming bigger, and it's more respected worldwide. So we've got to do our part in obviously doing that as well. And I think though as well, when you know, the more popular it becomes, the chances maybe seen that you would get, I don't know, maybe better funding involved in it. But as well, you know, like we just talked about Aisling there. I think it's important that we've got female role models, you know, and you know, she's doing her best to try and get things moving in that way. Yeah. She's doing that within Glasgow. Obviously, the Thistles, as we mentioned earlier, but as well, I mean, you've got Rambo's, his name is. He's actually called Richard Gray. Doesn't look like Rambo, by the way. I don't know. I don't know the understanding with that one, but he's a nice guy. So he's doing his bit over at the Steel Queens in Edinburgh. The Iron Maidens as well in there. And then who else we got? There's Solway, Kevin Butters, you know, he's doing his bit with the Solway Sharks ladies. But I know we're getting there. And I think as well, by the way, it's important to highlight Whitley Bay Beacons. Yeah. Because they're doing a lot, allowing Scottish players to be down there, you know, and develop down south. And they seem to be a great bunch, and they're doing everything they can to help it as well.
We've also got Scott Plews, obviously another former Pirate.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
He's obviously running the Fife Arctic Foxes as well.
Mm-hmm.
So he's doing some good things up there in Fife, trying to get the game out as well. And I was saying this to Aisling as well, and I think the kind of general consensus within the Thistles as well, potentially could be a WSNL at some point. It might not happen this season or next season, but only two teams short of a league essentially right now.
Aye, exactly. And I think there's also one in Dundee as well.
Yeah.
What's the name of them? Yeah, you know what I mean anyway. But
it's so bad that I forget it now, so I do apologise to them. I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. I mean, I should have mentioned it. There's just so many, you start talking in these things and you before you know it, you forgot something you should maybe say. But yeah, it's important we just keep pushing forward, and I think we'll eventually get there.
Yeah.
Who knows when, but we've just, as your kind of, if we can, to get everything out there and keep it going.
Mm-hmm. So you mentioned as well, obviously you started the skill sessions, the Monday night skill sessions. So let's kind of talk about how you work as a skills coach. So what areas do you tend to focus on mostly with players?
So I mean, the skill sessions we do on a Monday night, you only get an hour really. So and the numbers we've got that going quite busy now. We've got a really great team there helping me out keeping that going. But with those numbers, it has to be station based work that we do. And at those kind of sessions, and we do a wee bit at a hockey camp as well. But you're really just trying to look at the 5 components of a hockey player. So you're looking at skating, stick handling, passing, shooting. Checking is the 5th one, but we do a wee bit of that. And obviously within that there's different layers, there's different parts of skating you can work on, passing, shooting, etc. But that's really what we do there. When it comes to the hockey camps, which is something I do as well, I'm quite proud to be working in that. But you kind of decide on who's coming to the hockey camp, what is it they need? Is it going to be all skills, or is it going to be a mixture of skills and team play or tactics or whatever, working on 2v1s and stuff like that. When you get the opportunity to work with the better players, it's more game-like stuff that we do.
Yeah.
Teaching things like the 4 roles of a hockey player. It's all the things that we hope are taught within hockey clubs, but you just never know what's happening there.
Well, I just wanted to ask about the more seasoned players. Do you notice a difference in with any challenges or strengths when working with developing players than the guys that have been doing it for however long?
It's probably. I mean, I said a wee bit of that earlier. I think it depends when you've got seasoned players. If they're really interested in developing, and they are that sponges we call it, but they just want to absorb everything. They're desperate to improve, but the problem is when who was it? You'd somebody on your podcast said it. You take the superstar biscuit. Was it Ben Walker maybe?
Yeah.
And it's sad but true. But when people start munching on those, they don't want to listen to coaches. And I think the problem is they have a wee bit of success and they think they've kind of made it before they have. But no, I do love working with the kind of seasoned players as well. You can really expand your coaching with them. And don't get me wrong, I love the development side. There's value in that as well. There's people just desperate to learn, and we've had guys at our skill sessions that after a year, I remember them coming on and they're like Bambi, and you're a bit worried. You're like, oh God, what are we going to do with this lot? And it's a year on. These guys can skate. They're learning about puck protection. They're playing games now as well. So. No, it's great fun for sure.
It's really good as well. As a player myself, it's great to see that you've still got that option to do that through the summer months as well. Granted, I've not been able to make it down to a session yet for a Monday night, but it is certainly on my cards for the end of this season. But you've managed to kind of really get a good opportunity there with the rink. Was that just a kind of case of this is what we want to do, or was it more of a kind of chance in hand? We're giving you this opportunity to allow you to continue with it in the summer.
No, the rink have been great. I get on very well with the rink staff. They do everything they can for us, which is fantastic. Even at the end of the night, they'll give us a hand putting putting equipment away. I think it benefits them as well because they want to get away as quick as they can at the end of the night. But no, they've been brilliant, and we have been blessed that that runs all the way through the season. So it just allows people, when other rinks to shut down, they can come and they can work with us. And a different coaching type, different mentality of maybe hockey in a way, but I think everyone gets benefits from it, and it doesn't matter if you've played 30 years or you've played 3 years or whatever. It's important to go back to fundamentals and keep working on them, and that's what we do there. But I know it's been great running those sessions, and just while I'm on, if anybody hears it, a big thank you to everyone that keeps coming and supporting it. It's always appreciated.
So we'll get to the end of the episode. We'll ask you just to kind of plug the sessions, like where people can actually find out more about it and how they can get involved. But we'll do that closer to the end. So let's kind of circle back to the sport itself in Scotland. Have you seen the kind of Scottish game evolve since you first played for the Pirates?
Yeah, for sure. It's a faster game. There's definitely a higher skill level now, and I think it's easier for players to train away from the rink. You've got, you probably know yourself now that there's companies making off-ice training equipment. You can get shooting pads, you can get all the stick handling stuff. So the players can just work on that all the time now. What else you got? Technology. You can. I do it as well. Research at times. I'll go onto YouTube or Instagram. You can listen to other coaches. There's loads of videos out there in stick handling and shooting stuff. So it allows players to work on their off-ice development away from the rink, and that's where probably a lot of their development is. Because ice time, we never get enough ice time in the UK, I would say. So players get the opportunity at home to do more. And I think as well, the hockey IQ, there's so many things, nutrition, exercise, hockey IQ, it's all available on the internet, YouTube, etc. So it's just a default thing that's going to happen with new hockey players. They're just going to be far better than the kind of old era.
So do you think there are more opportunities now for younger players, or do you still think there's some big challenges to come, or to even overcome?
There is more opportunities for sure. I would love to see a lot more though. You think about, obviously I was a Lanarkshire coach, so you start at that point. They've got a great connection now with the Pirates. There's also some links to the clan now as well, so it's been good to see players coming through that, and well deserved to them. So it's something that we, I'm sure everybody said it before, that we need more rinks, we need more ice time, we need to play more games, we need more funding in it. There's so much, but I think as well, SIHA have done a bit, because for the kids that go into the Scotland setup, they've been trying to take them away now to tournaments. That gives them more time on the ice there. They get to mix with players from other countries, so that's a good thing. And you've got the UK selects as well, which is doing a similar thing. So there's certainly more opportunities, but I would just love if we can find a way to get more ice rinks made, all that stuff I said, just more funding, more ice on, more time on the ice, etc.
We need something like what Sheffield setup has up here, with the 2 ice rinks in the one building.
It's fantastic, and I think there's a few of us have got the same dream, to win the Euro Millions and have some sort of Scottish-based setup. If I won the Euro Millions, I would try and get that Pirates rink up and running for a start. that would be brilliant. But if we could, have multiple rinks here, have amazing off-ice areas where players can train if they're not on the ice, and you'd have to cater for everything. But again, we just don't have the funding or anything up here. But you just never know. But I think Stevie Gardner's got that dream, and I do, and a few others. So you just never know. There's more of us think the same way. So if one of us wins the lottery, it might happen.
I can see it happening. But even if it's by petition, crowdfunding, maybe 5-6 years down the line, because it will be an expensive project and a long project to actually make it happen. But yeah, I can see it happening again. Hopefully, because I think a lot of people say Paisley needs another ice rink again.
Aye, for sure. Totally agree with that.
So do you still follow the Pirates today?
Not as much as I used to. The last time I seen a game was maybe 2 or 3 years ago, I think, a live game. But I follow them on the social media. I watch, the odd game on YouTube. My son likes to kind of watch all that stuff as well as the clan, So that's a lot of times I can't watch the telly for anything else because there's hockey on it anyway. So, but no, I do what I can to watch it. But it's just great they're still going.
Aye. So seeing the current squad, what's it like seeing them compared to when you played back in the early 2000s?
Massive. I guess you could say massive difference because it's different players, different league, different time zone. But we've still got juniors coming into the senior team, which is great. When I say senior team, I mean from Lanarkshire into the Pirates, or Lightning Pirates to the Pirates. So we've got that going on. Pirates hockey is still there. I mean, the Turleys have done great with the coaching. You've got Rab Henderson there now, so he's got his experiences that he'll no doubt be passing on to the guys. I think as well, I mean, you've now got the likes of Peacock, who's just signed for them, which is fantastic. If we can, who else is kicking about? We've got Lee Esders, is it? And we've got Keel Tanaka. If we can try and get these guys to join as well, that would be amazing for the league. Might help to bring more bums on the seats as well. But I mean, as I say, different times, but it's still the same thing happening. It's just a different league, etc.
So, if you had a message for the current team and the supporters, what would it be?
Well, I think firstly, it's important to recognise that that club wouldn't be there if it wasn't for the Turleys taking over and rebuilding. It's probably a thankful task doing all that stuff, but what they've done is massive, I think, and it couldn't have been an easy job. No doubt there was going to be help for other people to get it to where it is today, but I've got much respect for that for sure. But I would say to the team, keep doing what you're doing. Things are working. We just as always keep playing hard, enjoy the game. You've got to make sure you entertain the fans as well. So maybe drop the gloves at times, or score a nice goal or something. But I know. I mean, I wish them all the best. It was a pleasure having that jersey on, and I'm sure they feel the same way. But to the supporters, just what you guys do, you keep. They don't realise it, but the cheering, keeping loud out there just helps keep the team driving forward in a game. I think there is this kind of hidden power when you hear a crowd cheering. It uplifts you. It doesn't matter if you're tired or not. You just find another level to keep digging in. So I think that's something that the supporters need to think about. But yeah, I mean, I'm thankful obviously for the time I was there. The supporters were great. You would meet them in the bar afterwards. They were always happy to talk to you. They came to games that you would be surprised that they shouldn't have come to because it's so far away.
Yeah.
But it's just brilliant that it's still going, honestly.
So here is a question for you. If you got the call from Rabbery and they say, "Listen, we need you on tonight," do you reckon you could still go?
I would probably have to say to them, give me 6 months to get conditions. And that would allow me to get some sort of prep. But I would be good for 30 seconds, and then I would have to come off. And listen, I would love to do it again, but there's just far too much going on, and I think I've had my time. The body probably couldn't keep up with those young ones now, and it's their time anyway. I've done my bit. It's now their time to develop and get to where the likes of the senior players are at. Because that's it. They've got to chase those senior players, and those senior players have to just keep moving as well and making sure they stay on top. So I think it's a good, healthy competition for them. But I'm probably out on that one, to be honest.
No, fair enough. So, looking ahead, what are your goals now as a coach and a skills trainer?
I would like to. I think it's really important that we get the Scotland ladies squad up and running properly. We were trying to do that last season. I think it was difficult for a lot of players to get there, but to be honest, I don't think there was enough commitment, and we've got to find a way to get that commitment there. So we need to get that doing so we can play some serious games. That's going to help grow the women's game, I think, certainly in Scotland. For me as a coach, I'm wanting to try and keep improving myself as well. It's you can always be better and learn more. I think I need more time on the ice. Certainly not with the Pirates, but if I can just get on the ice a wee bit more and work on my own skills, because I think that's the thing when you're on the ice, coaching, you maybe demonstrate some stuff, but then it's down to the players, and you're analysing them, you're giving them advice and maybe constructive criticism. But over time, you start to get a bit rusty.
Yeah.
So I would like to get on the ice more. I'm hoping to do that with Hamilton Hawks this season. So
Okay.
I'm registered with them, so I'm going to try and do a wee bit of that, but obviously not to the same level as SNL.
So, last question for this chat: if you could go back and give young Jamie Turnbull, of 2000, one piece of advice, what would it be?
I think I would just keep it simple. Jamie, make sure to enjoy your time playing. Don't overthink it. I mean, I was blessed to be doing what I was doing at that point, and whatever was going to happen happened with my career, and it is what it is. But no, just thankful for that time and everything about it. It was just great.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. No, Jamie, thank you so much for doing this with me today. So just before we do wrap things up, where can people find out about the skill sessions?
So we've got a Facebook page for it, which is just simply Monday night skill sessions. So they can have a wee browse on there. They'll click to be added to it, and I can approve it, and they'll kind of basically, I can send them a message or whatever and tell them about it. But we run that session pretty much for everyone. So we've got our beginner / development side. We've got an advanced side that we work with as well. So we always try to give somebody something out of practice. That's the key thing. It's about giving the players something. The goalies too. We get goalies coming to it as well. And if there's any goalies out there, want to come to that as well, they're welcome. We don't take any money for goalies. We're just happy to have them on. It makes the practice more exciting for players.
Where is the sessions held these days?
Sorry, it's the time capsule. So it's just Coat Bridge time capsule Monday night, 8:30 to 9:30. So it's another session.
Have they still got the big woolly mammoth in the middle of the ice rink there?
No, it's long. I don't know if that was put in a skip or if it's hiding somewhere, but it's just a normal shape rink now, thank God.
Oh, that's
but
good.
it was good at the time for sure. But
it shows you how long I've not been there. I remember the big woolly mammoth.
That's well changed days. You might have to Google the pics on that just to remind yourself what it was like.
Jamie, this has been great. Thank you so much. Is there anything else you want to close out with?
No, just again, thanks for having me on. It's been a pleasure. I'm never used to doing something like this, so I appreciate you for thinking about inviting me. It's been fun to talk about the old days. So thanks to you for that, and thanks again for the club Paisley Pirates and all its supporters. I loved every minute. So thank you very much.
The Paisley Pirates are proud to be sponsored by Cold Blooded Sports, Renfrewshire Council, CycleLane.co.uk, Custom Sports Stitch, Hillington Tyre Services, Al Guild Photo, Studio 13, Abbey Services, and the Falk family.